All right, we keep talking, and Iran keeps slamming us and Israel. You won't believe some of the stunts being pulled lately as Vladimir Putin keeps pushing for a nuke deal to go through. That alone should tell you maybe, well, we should go slow. It's certainly a reason why my next guest is cautious among many. New Hampshire Republican Senator Ayotte says enough is enough. Senator, very good to have you back with us. We continue.
Neil, good to be with you.
Same here. Now, we continue talking to them. I guess Secretary of State Kerry has said that, he's running out of patience, but we patiently keep extending this deadline. You say stop, cease, desist. Why?
I would say at this point, we know what needs to happen. And unfortunately, they've already conceded too much because a good agreement would dismantle Iran's program. A good agreement would deal with the terrorism that they support in the region. A good agreement would allow inspections anytime, anywhere, including their military facilities. A good agreement would deal with their ICBM program and missiles program. And we've already conceded too much, and here we are. They're extending it. I think on the good news front, if they still reach an agreement, Neil, the congressional review time has now been extended from 30 days to 60 days so that we can make sure that the American people can engage in this debate on an agreement if there's one reached. But there's huge issues with this.
But aren't the chips stacked in the president's favor here? In other words, even if you guys don't flip over the deal, you'd need a 2/3 majority to override his likely rejection of your rejection, I guess, right? And so unless it's just blatantly heinous, right? I mean, he does have the cards, right?
He can veto this, but I think each member is going to have to decide for themselves. Do they think this protects America and protects Israel and our interests? And if we see this unfolding, you've identified in the beginning, you have Vladimir Putin. Right now, the Iranians are pushing to not only get this good nuclear deal, but to have the arms embargo against them lifted. They've been pushing to have the ICBM resolution in the UN lifted. And of course, Putin's cheerleading Iran on these issues. So that should raise the flags for members of Congress.
Why do you think he wants a deal, though, Senator? If you think about it, a deal would put more oil on the market, right? Iran's 2 million barrels a day would be put on the market. That would increase supply, that would conceivably put down and bring or force down oil prices, which would hurt Vladimir Putin. So what do you think he's up to here? Or is it bigger than just oil?
I think unfortunately, Vladimir Putin wants to sell arms. One of the things that Russia produces is arms, and I think they are anxious to sell those arms to Iran. And so I think if you see what Vladimir Putin has been doing, obviously, he's not a friend to us, and I think that's what you see happening in the geopolitical context here.
Do you think as well that these sporadic incidents of violence today in Iran, this anti-American demonstration, they're burning flags, our flag, the Israeli flag, these are more commonplace of late, Senators, you know, and I'm wondering, normally when you're in the middle of negotiations with someone, you save that stuff for, I guess, after you sign a deal. They're doing it now as we're working on a deal. And furthermore, their chief negotiators are saying that they think we're playing fast and loose with the promises. So it seems to be that it's unraveling, or they're shoving stuff back in our face, right?
I think Iran right now, you see happening today, they're having these demonstrations where they're saying death to Israel, down with America. And let's not forget, Neil, the president of Iran actually appeared at some of these demonstrations. So it's not just grassroots, it's the leadership of Iran. But also during all of these negotiations, they've continued to support terrorism in the region, undermining our interests. So all of this is Iran, I think, feels that it can do what it wants to do, and that the administration will enter a deal regardless, is what I'm getting from this.
Real quickly, I go back to an issue we started our show on, Senator, and that is the sanctuary city dust up in this tragic story, this San Francisco woman allegedly killed by someone who was deported back to Mexico 5 times. Josh Earnest, if I got the gist of his comments right, blamed it on Republicans for blocking illegal immigration legislation, even though, to my memory, I don't believe sanctuary cities were addressed in that. But what do you make of that he's left this on you guys?
Yeah, I think that it's absurd, first of all. Sanctuary cities should be unacceptable, and the White House should be saying that we're not going to accept sanctuary cities, that you have to comply and work with federal authorities. I mean, that would have made a huge, probably made the difference in San Francisco for that beautiful young woman. And so that's within the power of the president.
Not a one has recommended doing that. Not a one, at least in the Democratic Party, and for some of your colleagues, aren't taking the leap to say end sanctuary cities. Some are. You are. Ben Carson just did. But it's not a call. Maybe they're all scared by the Donald Trump thing and alienating Latinos. I don't know what it is. But what do you make of that?
Neil, I support, and let me just,
sure.
I mean, I just say this. First of all, I'm someone who has worked on immigration reform. I want to solve this problem. I think that we got to secure the border. This demonstrates that that's a huge issue for us. And also reform our legal immigration system. That's important too, so that we have the workforce we need to grow our economy. And I've supported efforts to reform our immigration system. But you know what? Sanctuary city is unacceptable.
Okay. Senator, always good seeing you again. Thank you very much.
Good to see you. Appreciate it.